So guys, to begin making our top, we're going to start by making the back panel first. Now you would need to take your measurements. To take your measurements, you're going to go ahead and wrap the tape around the fullest part of your bust. I'll be leaving a diagram on the screen, and once you've gotten your full bust measurement, you would divide that by 2. So mine is 36 and 36 divided by 2 is 18, and that is going to be the measurement for the foundation chain that I'll be making for my back panel. So now we're going to start by making a slip knot. So if you've not made a slip knot before, you can reduce the playback speed to see how I do this at a slower pace. So once you've done your slip knot, go ahead and chain as much chains that measure up to half of your bust measurement. So for me, I'm working with 18 inches. I'll chain as much chains that measure up to 18 inches. So another thing to take into consideration is that your chains should be in the multiple of 3. So whatever chains you have at the end should be in the multiple of 3. Let's make the chains. So I'm going to continue off camera and tell you how many chains I did for mine. I'm done making my foundation chains. I did a total of 66 chains, and this measures up to 18 inches. So now we're going to start working up the mesh parts of the top. So for row 1, we're going to skip 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And go into the 9th chain with a single crochet. Now chain up 5. So once you've chained up 5, you're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and go into the 3rd chain with a single crochet. Now, after you've done that, chain up 5 again and skip 2 chains and go into the 3rd with a single crochet. So chain up 5, skip 2 chains, go into the 3rd with a single crochet. So you're going to repeat this till you get to the end of the row. So I'm almost at the end of my row 1. I just want to show you guys how I round up the row 1. So I have 3 chains remaining. I'm going to go ahead and chain up 5 as normal. I'm going to skip 2 chains and place my last single crochet in the last chain. And that's it for row 1. Now we're going to go ahead and make row 2. So for row 2, chain up 6. Now turn your work and go into the very first chain space. So we're going to be referring to these 5 chains we make on each row as a chain space. So you're going to go into this chain space with a single crochet. So once you've done this, you're going to chain up 5 again and skip this single crochet stitch here and go into the chain space with a single crochet. Chain up 5, go into the next chain space with a single crochet, like so. So chain up 5 and go into the next chain space with a single crochet. You're going to repeat this till you get to the end of the row. So I've worked my way to my last chain space for row 2. I just want to show you guys how to finish up row 2. So in the last chain space, that's where we skipped this 8 chains in the first row. You're going to go ahead and place a single crochet. So once you've done that, you're going to chain up 3. So after you've chained up 3, we're going to make a treble crochet. So you're going to yarn over 2 times. So now we're going to go back to our first row, which is here, and skip 2 stitches from this single crochet that we have here. So you're going to skip 1, 2, and go into the 3rd chain with the treble crochet. So insert your hook in there, and if you've not made a treble crochet before, you're going to yarn over, pull through. Now you should have 4 loops on your hook. Then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops again, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. And that's how to make a treble crochet. Now chain up 6, and turn your work. Now we are at row 3 for this pattern. So you're going to skip the 3 chain space that we made and go into the 5 chain space with a single crochet. Now chain up 5, and go into the next chain space with a single crochet like we did in the previous row. So you're going to chain up 5 again, and into the next chain space make a single crochet. So repeat this pattern till you get to the end of the row, and I'll meet you guys when I'm done with mine. So I'm at the end of my row 3. I just want to show you guys how I finish up. I've already done my 5 chains and I have 1 chain space remaining. So I'm going to go into that chain space with a single crochet. And that's it for row 3. So we're going to go ahead and make row 4. Now chain up 6 and turn your work. So now we're going to go into the first chain space and make a single crochet. So why we are working into the first chain space here is because the last chains that we made for row 3 was made up of 5 chains. Go into this chain space and make a single crochet. So you're going to go ahead and chain up 5 and into the next chain space, going with a single crochet. So chain up 5 and into the next chain space, going with a single crochet. So just repeat this pattern like normal till we get to the very last chain space, and I'll tell you how to finish up this row. So now I'm at the end of row 4 and I have 1 chain space remaining. So I'm going to go into the last chain space with a single crochet, then chain up 3. So once you've done this, prepare for a treble by yarning over 2 times. And now we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to insert our hook on top of the treble crochet that we made in row 2. That is here. So insert your hook in there like so and yarn over, pull through. Now you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops, and we've made our trebles. So for our back panel, you're going to repeat rows 3 and 4 till this gets to your desired measurement for the length. So I'm actually going for a very cropped front tie top, so mine is going to be a bit short. So you can customize this to whatever length that you want or you feel comfortable with. I'll finish up mine and tell you how many rows I did and the measurement for my own back panel. So I'm done with mine. I did a total of 21 rows of match stitches. So now let's measure my back panel. Because of how this stitch is, it's very stretchy, so you have to stretch it out a bit when taking your measurements for the top. So when stretched out a bit, it measures 10.5 inches and I'm okay with this measurement. So the next thing we're going to do is our shoulder panel. And for the shoulder panel, this depends on your size. I'm making this for a size large. So I'm going to leave out 5 inches for my shoulder panel. But if you're making this for a smaller size, you can leave out 4 inches or 4.5 inches. And if you're making it for a size extra large or extra large, you can leave out 6 inches or 7 inches. So I'm going to use another shade of yarn as my stitch marker so I don't make mistakes. Now let's start up the shoulder panel. So we're going to start up the next row of the shoulder panel like we've been doing. Chain up 6 and turn your work. So in the next chain space, if you ended with the 3 chain space, you're going to skip the first chain space and place in the next chain space that's made up of 5 chains. But if you ended up with 5 chains as your chain space, you're going to go directly into that chain space with a single crochet like normal. So chain up 5 like we've been doing, and go into the next chain space with a single crochet. Chain up 5 and go into the next chain space with a single crochet. So I'm at the last chain space because this is where I placed my stitch marker. So I'm going to go into here with a single crochet like so. So chain up 3 and yarn over 2 times and go into that single crochet that you placed your stitch marker with a treble like we've been doing. And that's it for our first row for the shoulder panel. So now for the second row, chain up 6 like normal. And now we're going to continue like we've been doing for the body. So now you're going to skip this 3 chains and go into the next with a single crochet. Chain up 5, then go into the next chain space with a single crochet, chain up 5 like we've been doing, and single crochet. So now I'm at the last chain space. I'm going to go into here with my single crochet. So this is us literally repeating what we did for the body. You're going to go ahead and do this till your shoulder panel measures 3.5 inches. Now I'll meet you guys when I'm done with mine. So I'm done making my shoulder panel. I did a total of 7 rows and it measures 3.5 inches. So you can make yours 3 inches if you're wearing a smaller size, and you can make yours 4 inches if you're wearing a bigger size. But better still, you can just take the measurements or place it on your body and see if it fits. So one thing to note is whatever row that you stop at should be leaning towards the inside, because this is where we're going to be increasing to make our front panel. So now we're going to start making our front panel, and the first row is going to be an increase row. So to begin, you're going to go ahead and chain up 7 instead of 6 that we normally do. Then turn your work. So usually we don't make any stitch in the chain space that has 3 chains, but because we are increasing, we're going to go into the stitch with a single crochet. Now chain up 5 like normal for the mesh pattern, and repeat the mesh pattern till you get to the end of the row like we've been doing. So now we're done with our first row for our front panel. Now, to make this easy for you, you can go into the first row and place a stitch marker. So I'll be using another color of yarn for that. For row 2, we're going to go ahead and make a normal row of mesh stitches without any increases. So just go ahead and chain up 6 like we've been doing. Then turn your work and go into the very first chain space with a single crochet, chain up 5, and repeat the pattern like usual till you get to the end of the row. So now I'm at the last chain space. I'm going to go into this chain space with a single crochet, chain up 3 like normal, then prepare for a treble and insert my hook into the treble from the previous row. Now I made this a bit tight. So in case you make this mistake, go in with a smaller hook to make it easier for you. So for rows 3 and 4, we're going to repeat what we did in our row 2, that is to make a normal row without any increase. So chain up 6 like normal and skip this chain 3 space and go into the next chain and make a single crochet. So you're going to repeat the chain 5 and single crochet pattern till you get to the end of the row. So I've worked my way till I got to the end of the row here. I'm going to go ahead and make my 4th row like normal. So chain up 6, then turn your work and place a single crochet in the chain space, chain up 5, then go into the next chain space with a single crochet. Repeat this pattern till you get to your last chain space. So I'm at the last chain space. I'm going to go into here with a single crochet, chain up 3 and prepare for a treble and place a treble on top of the treble from the previous row like normal, like so. So now for the 5th row, we're going to go ahead and make an increase row. So chain up 7 like normal and turn your work. Now we're going to make a single crochet in the very first chain space. Now you're going to chain up 5 like normal and continue your mesh pattern till you get to the end of the row. I'm done with my row 5. Now the aim is to have the same number of rows that we had at the back panel for the front panel. But you're going to have to deduct 2 rows from the back panel because we'll be leaving that for the strap. That's the front tie strap that we're going to be making. So you're going to deduct 2 from whatever number of rows you had at the back panel. Mine was 21 rows. So I'm going to repeat rows 2, 3, 4, 5 till I have 19 rows for my front panel. So just repeat the pattern from rows 2, 3, 4, 5 for your front panel. And I'll meet you guys when I'm done with mine. So I've worked my way to my 19th row. I'm now going to go ahead and make the straps. Now to make the straps, you're going to go ahead and make as much chains that you feel is very long or okay for you. And one thing you should put into consideration is that your chains should be in the multiple of 3 like we did for the back panel. So I would do mine and tell you how many chains I made and how much it measures. So I'm done making my chains. This measures 19.5 inches. I'm okay with this length. You can make yours shorter or make yours longer. I did a total of 72 chains. So now what we're going to do is similar to what we did for the back panel. We're going to turn our work and skip 8 chains. And in the 9th chain, make a single crochet. Now you're going to chain 5, skip 2 chains and go into the 3rd chain with a single crochet. Chain 5, skip 2 chains and go into the next chain with a single crochet. Chain 5, skip 2 chains and go into the next chain with a single crochet. So now you're going to repeat this till you get to your normal rows for the front panel. So I've worked my way till I have just 3 chains remaining. So I'm going to go into the last chain with a single crochet, then chain up 5 like usual. And now we're going to go back to placing a single crochet in every chain space and chaining up 5. So we get to the end of the row. So I'm at the last chain space. I'm going to go into here with my single crochet in order to maintain this pattern on the side. Now chain up 6 as usual. Turn your work and make another row of the mesh pattern without any increase or decrease, and I'll meet you guys when I am done with mine. That's going to be our final row. So now I'm at the last chain space, which is here. I already made my 5 chains. I'm going to go into here and make a single crochet like so, then chain up 3, turn over 2 times and skip 2 chains after the single crochet that we made here, and go into the 3rd chain with a treble crochet. Then chain up 1 and cut. So now we're done with one panel. You're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing that we did for here as well. That is, make the shoulder panel first, Then make the front panel and attach your straps. And I'll meet you guys when I'm done with mine. So I just want to show you guys briefly how I start off my second panel. So since I'm working on the side that has the treble crochet, I'll insert my hook on top of the first treble crochet and attach my yarn. Then chain up 6. So once you've done this, turn your work like normal and insert a single crochet in the first chain space. Then chain up 5. So you're just going to repeat what you did in the first panel and make the same amount of stitches that you made in the first panel for this. So mine was like 4 single crochet, I think. Now I've made 3, so I'm just going to go in and make the last one in the next chain space. So after you've done this, chain up 3 and make a treble into the next single crochet like we did for the other panel. So just go ahead and repeat exactly what you did for the first panel. Make a shoulder panel, make your front panel, and make your straps. And I'll meet you guys when I'm done with mine. So I've made 19 rows for the front panel, and unlike here, my work stopped at the side instead of the inner part of the top. So I'm going to chain up 1 here and cut. So this thing I did is not necessary if your 19th row or whatever row you are making for your front panel stopped at the inner part of the top. So I'll go into the top of the treble crochet for this side and attach my yarn. Now, this is how you attach your yarn. Leave the loose end. Then go ahead and chain up as much chains as you did for the other side. I did a total of 72 for the other side, so that's what I'm going to do. Then continue making the remaining 2 rows like you did for the other side as well. And I'll meet you guys when I'm done with mine. So guys, I'm done making both of my front panels. Now we're going to go ahead and make the armhole. So to do this, you have to identify the middle of your shoulder panel. Remember, I did a total of 7 for mine, so I'm just going to place my stitch marker on the 4th row of my shoulder panel. I'll be placing my stitch marker in here. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to place another stitch marker at this side as well. So I've already identified the middle of my shoulder panel. I'll fold my work like this and make sure that this is in the middle. So now the next thing we're going to do is to make the armhole. For me, I'm going to be leaving a total of 6.5 inches, and I'm making this for a size large. If you're making this for a size small, you can leave 5.5 inches, you can leave 6 inches, you can leave 5 inches. And if you're making this for a bigger size, you can leave 7 inches, you can leave 8.5 inches. So I'm going to measure from here. And remember, since this stitch is very stretchy, try and stretch out your work a bit when you're taking your measurements. So I'm just going to place a stitch marker in here. So the next thing to do is to skip the same amount of rows that you skipped for the front, for the back as well, so that the front panel and back panel will be the same. So for here, I skipped a total of 9 rows, so I will skip a total of 9 rows here and place my stitch marker on the 10th row. So I've placed my stitch marker at both sides of my top, this side and this side. So in order to attach those 2 sides together, you can either attach from the top to bottom or bottom to top. And you can do this with a darning needle and just stitch the sides together, but I'll be slip stitching to join mine, and I'll be doing that randomly. So I'll insert my hook into the stitch I placed my stitch marker on the first side, then into the stitch I placed my stitch marker on the other side, and attach the yarn. So chain up 1. So I'm going to switch to a smaller hook to make this part easier for me. So on the next row now, I would go into here, and the other side I'll place my hook as well and make a slip stitch. Now I'll do that again. There's no math to doing this. Just make sure you're placing as much slip stitches into a row when you have the treble crochet row or you have the chain row. So I'll insert my hook into here and here and make a slip stitch. So I did 3 slip stitches into this part. So now I'm at the single crochet rows. I'm going to insert my hook into here and into the nest by this side and make a slip stitch. So just keep doing this randomly. Make sure you sew up the single crochet rows together and the chain rows or treble crochet rows together till you get to the end of the row. I've slip stitched into each row till I got to the end, so I'm just going to chain 1 and cut. Then go ahead and do the same thing for the second side, and I'll meet you guys when I'm done with mine. So I've attached both sides of the top together. Now I'm going to turn this to the front because this side that we slip stitched into, or if you use the darning needle, this will automatically become the back of our top because it looks rough. And you can go ahead and remove your stitch marker for both sides. Now turn your work. So now we're going to make the sleeves. To make the sleeves, you're going to turn your work and go into this place. So when you look at the place you just attached your work, that is on top, you'll notice that we have a space that we can actually insert our hook into. This is mine. So I'm using a smaller hook so that it's easy to pass my hook into this space. Now attach your yarn and chain up 1. But before I chain up 1, I'm going to go back with my 7mm hook and chain up 1. Now we're going to skip the stitch here and go directly into this chain space with a single crochet. Now chain up 5 like normal. Skip the stitch here and go into here with a single crochet. Then chain up 5. Now skip here, go into here. That's the chain space with a single crochet. So now you're going to repeat this till you get to this place that we started. So I've worked my way till I have just 1 chain space remaining on this side. So I'm going to go in with a single crochet, chain up 5, and slip stitch into the first single crochet that I made. Not this chain 1, but the first single crochet that I made for the first row of our sleeves. So that's it for row 1. Now we're going to be working in the rounds. So to do that, we're going to insert our hook into the first chain of those 5 chain space and make a slip stitch. Now go into the second one with a slip stitch. This might be a bit hard to pass your hook into. So once you've slip stitched into the first 2 chains, you're going to go right into this chain space with a single crochet and chain up 5 like usual. Then you're going to repeat the mesh pattern, which is placing a single crochet in the chain space and chaining up 5. So I'm at the last chain space before this first single crochet I made for my row 2. In case this is quite confusing to you, you can always place a stitch marker in your first single crochet for each row. So I'm just going to place my last single crochet in here and chain up 5. Then slip stitch into the first single crochet that I made for this row. So once you've done that, you're just going to repeat row 2 till this measures up to your elbow. Then we'll start our increase rows for the bell sleeves. So just repeat what we did in row 2, slip stitch into the first, slip stitch into the first 2 chains and make a single crochet in the chain space, then chain up 5. Then continue making the mesh pattern until you get to the end of the row. So just do that till this measures up to your elbow. You can wear this on your body as you work to know where you would stop working your sleeves. I'm done making the sleeves and this is perfect for me. It measures up to the top of my elbow and I did a total of 17 rows. So now we're going to start the increase rows. And to do that, chain up 1, that's after you've slip stitched to join, and cut. Now you're going to turn your work. You're going to identify the corner of your work for both sides. You can either eyeball this or count how many stitches that you have on each row and identify the corner. So I actually counted mine and I have a total of 12 stitches. So I'm just going to place my stitch marker at the corner. That's at the 6th stitch for each side. I've placed mine at the corner. So now I'm going to start working in here. That's the first place I placed my stitch marker. So attach your yarn and chain up 1. Then, sorry about this, turn your work. Now we're going to be turning our projects after we make our starting chain. So turn your work and make a single crochet in the stitch. Now chain up 5 and into that same chain space, going with a single crochet. Now chain up 5 again and into the next chain space, go into it with a single crochet. Chain up 5. So I just basically repeating this mesh pattern. We're going to keep on doing that till we get to the next chain space that has the stitch marker at the corner. So I'm at the next chain space with the stitch marker. I'm going to go into that with a single crochet, chain up 5, into that same chain space with a single crochet, then chain up 5 and repeat the mesh pattern until you get to your starting chain. That's the chain 1 we did. So what we're doing by placing 2 single crochet and chain 5 in one stitch is that we're trying to create an increase row for our bell sleeves. So I've worked my way till I got to my first stitch, that is this single crochet here. So I'm going to go into that with a slip stitch. So for the next 3 rows, we're not going to be making any increases. We'll just have like a normal row of this mesh pattern. So to do that, chain up 1. Now turn your work and slip stitch into the first 2 chains like we've been doing. The only difference now is that we have to like turn to do the slip stitches. Then go into that chain space with a single crochet and chain up 5. So you're going to continue your mesh pattern till you get to the end without any increases. I've worked my way till I got to my last chain space, so I'm now going to slip stitch to join. Now you're going to go ahead and repeat this for 2 more rows. That is 2 more rows without any increases. So guys, I've made 3 rows without any increase. So now we're going to go back and make an increase row. So for this bell sleeve, till you get to the desired length and width for how wide you want your bell sleeve to be, you're going to repeat 1 row of increase, 3 rows without increase, like we did for the front panel in the rounds, till this is long enough to your liking and wide enough to your liking. So if you've not gotten to your desired length, but this is already wide enough, you can completely stop making your increase rows and just make the normal rows without any increase. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do the increase row one more time, and I would walk off camera. So for the increase row, that's the 5th row for our bell sleeve, we're going to chain 1 like we've been doing, turn your work and slip stitch into the first 2 chains. Okay, my last chain was a little bit tight, so I'll go into that with my smaller hook. That's another hack. If your chains are tight, you can just use a smaller hook to make your slip stitch, then continue with your bigger hook. So once you've done that, make your single crochet into this chain space and chain up 5 like usual. Then you're going to make another single crochet into that chain space. So how to know where to make your increases? A hack I would recommend is to probably carry your stitch marker as you work and place it in the corner, or you count your stitches, or you can just eyeball like I am. So from here I can tell that my corner is at this side because this is where my stitch marker is. Then once I've placed this, I will now count or see eyeball it till I get to this part to know that this is my corner stitch. Now continue the mesh pattern, chain up 5, then place your single crochet in the chain space till you get to your next increase stitch. So I'm at the next chain space for my increases. I'm just going to do the single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, chain 5, and continue placing single crochet, chain 5 till I get to my starting chain. So for this process, I really advise that you count your work or you move your stitch marker as you work, because eyeballing it might not give you like accurate results actually. So I've worked my way till I got to this part. I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch. So just go ahead and repeat what I said. 1 row of increase, 3 rows without increase. So I already made 1 row of increase. Now I'm going to go ahead and make 3 rows without increase, 1 row of increase, 3 rows without increase, till this measures up to my desired length. It might vary with what you would get, and that depends on the size of hook you're working with, the size of or the weight of your yarn, and your tension. So I will still let you guys know how many rows I did, but always work with your measurements so that you get accurate results. So I'm done, and this measures 25 inches. So go ahead and do the same thing for the other side as well, and we'll now work on the border. So I'm done making my 2 sleeves, and now we're going to go ahead and make the border. So to make the border, we'll start from the bottom of our straps, and we'll be making a single crochet border from the bottom of our straps. You can start from any strap that you want. You can start from the right or the left, but I'll be starting from this. To start up our border, you're going to attach your yarn and chain up 1. Now, because I have a 3 chain space here, I'm going to just place 2 single crochet in it. Then once you've done that, if you have the 5 chain space here, you would place 3 single crochet in it. So once you've done that, skip this single crochet stitch and go into the next chain space with 3 single crochet. So skip this single crochet stitch, go into the next chain space with 3 single crochet. So skip this, go into the next with 3 single crochet. So you're going to repeat this pattern till you get to your back panel. So I've worked my way till I got to the back panel. This is where I attached the front and the back panel together. So I'm going to repeat this pattern, that's placing 3 single crochet in each chain space. So I already worked my way from the back panel to the second strap, and I'm at the end of the second strap. I have the 3 chain space as my last chain space. I'm just going to place 2 single crochet in it. In the sides, I'll go in with 3 single crochet for the sides. Then once I've done this, I would continue the pattern, 3 single crochet in each chain space, and I'll repeat this. I'll repeat this all the way from here, from the top here to the front panel. Then I will work my way to the back panel like so, and continue in the second front panel till I get to my second strap, and I'll show you guys how I finish. So I've done my single crochet border all around, like this to this other side as well, and I'm at the second strap. So I'm just going to show you guys how I finish up. I've already placed my 3 single crochet in here, so I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made, like we've been doing. Now chain up 1 and cut, and that's it for the single crochet border. So now we're going to go ahead and make the scallops, the scallop border. I won't be making any scallop border for the straps because I feel like this is wide enough and to make it more bulky. So I'll just make it on the front panel. But you can decide to make it at the back panel as well and down to the second panel. So I have an idea to make mine on the front panel and stop here. But let's see how it goes. I might decide to make it at the back panel as well. But it's the same pattern. I'll show you how to start up your scallop border and you can play along with it as much as you like. Another thing I'll be doing is I'll also be making the scallop border at the bottom as well. But it's going to be at the bottom of the front panel, excluding the straps. Do not make any scallop border on the straps. It's going to make it very bulky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the bottom of my front panel, which is here, to attach for my scallops, and it's still the same method as attaching for here as well. Then work till I get to the bottom of the second front panel. So I'm just going to show you guys how to make the scallop border now. It's really easy. So to make this scallop border, I'm going to attach my yarn here. This is the stitch that is connecting the front panel to the strap. Remember, I'm not making any scallop border on the strap, so just attach your yarn in here. And once you've attached your yarn, you're going to chain up one. In that same stitch, make a single crochet. So you're going to go ahead and skip 2 stitches, that's 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and go into the third one with 5 double crochet. So once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and skip 2 single crochet again and go into the third with a single crochet. Now skip 2 single crochet, that's 2 stitches, 1, 2. Then go into the third with 5 double crochet. So after you've made your 5 double crochet, you're going to skip 2 stitches and make a single crochet. So you're going to repeat this pattern till you're okay with your scallop design. I told you you can decide to work this for only the front panel and stop on top, or you go round the top, and I think that's what I'm going to do till you get to the side. And please do not make it on top of the straps because this is wide enough, unless you're working with a very tiny yarn. So guys, I ended up making mine round like this from the bottom to the first front panel, then I went round to the back panel, then came down to the second front panel. So I already made my last single crochet. Just to make this look like really sleek, I'll slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1, and then cut. So now go ahead and repeat the same pattern. That's if you're interested, because this is still fine and this can still serve. But if you still want the scallop border for the bottom as well, you attach your yarn at the bottom of your front panel. Okay, so this is mine, and just do the same thing you did for the body of the work. Chain up 1 and make a single crochet in that same stitch, then skip 2 and place your 5 double crochet in the next stitch. Then you skip 2 stitches and go into the next with a single crochet. So just repeat this till you get to the other side of your front panel, and I'll show you guys how this looks by the time I'm done. So when you finish up your work, you should finish it up like this to make it look sleek. Then hide your loose ends and we'll come back for the reveal. since I'm working with natural light and it's already getting dark, I know by the time I'm done with this video I won't be able to do this again. I want to say thank you guys for watching to this point. If you've been on my channel since day one, I want to say thank you so much. And if you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe to this video. If you've watched this video to the end, that means this video added value to you. So please and please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and see you guys in another video. Bye.